Hello, guys. How are you all? So, there are new rules for going to India. For all my friends and followers who are watching my channel, please watch the whole video so you can get to know all about the new rules that are effective starting today, that is January 11, 2022. These rules are not just for UAE India travel but are for all the international travelers going to any city in India. All international travelers flying to India must now quarantine at home for 7 days. On the 8th day, travelers will take a PCR test and upload the results of the test to the Air Suvidha portal. If the results are negative, the quarantine ends. But passengers they have to continue to monitor their symptoms for the next 7 days. And these new rules apply to all the arriving passengers and regardless of their vaccination status and regardless which country they are coming from. And these quarantine rules are applicable to children as well. The first question is, do I need to take a negative PCR test still to take a flight? Yes, you must still have a negative PCR test taken within 72 hours before you can fly to India. Travelers also have to upload the results to the Air Suvidha portal before flying and take the hard copy printout for the travel, because at the any airport in UAE before you start your travel they check the hard copy of the Air Suvidha portal, without which you may be not allowed entry to the uh, airline. Special rules regarding children who are below 5 years, as children who are below 5 they are exempted for testing both pre and post arrival, but those aged 5 and above must be tested. Any children who develop symptoms for COVID-19 at any point during their trip will have to take a PCR test regardless of the age. For traveling to India, there is a self declaration form that has to be submitted online on the Air Suvidha portal, which needs to be filled before the travel and must include details of any country visited in the past 14 days. Travelers coming from countries designated at risk by authorities will need to undergo further PCR testing for COVID-19 on arrival in India right at the airport. At present, countries on the list include UK, Europe, China, Brazil, and several other African nations. The UAE currently is not on the list. Update will be made to the list based on the prevalent epidemiological situation of the COVID-19 in each destination. Travelers who need on arrival tests are encouraged to pre book an appointment to speed things up on arrival, and also will need to fund the cost of their test, which is around 3000 Indian rupee presently. All other travelers may subject to further testing on arrival, with authorities saying 2% of all arriving passengers will be randomly selected for a PCR test at the airport. There will be thermal screening by health officials in the airport across the country. There are few countries that are on India's at risk list for travel, and this list is extensive and currently has 20 countries on the list, and you can see on the screen. So while traveling, if you get positive PCR test result, you'll have to definitely go to an isolation facility where a doctor will assess you and advise you on a follow up process. Close contacts of the positive cases will be contacted, including co passengers and anyone in the home or hotel where the person with COVID 19 has been isolating. Fellow passengers who are seated 3 rows in front and 3 rows behind anyone who tests positive will also be considered close contacts. If you are isolating at home or in a hotel and develop symptoms that could be COVID 19, then you must report to the nearest health facility or call national helpline number for subsequent advice. Guys, there is no end date that has been set up for the new home quarantine rules, with official documents stating that the rules are in place until further orders. It's probable that new measures will remain in place while COVID-19 cases numbers remain high. India recorded almost 2 lakh new COVID cases on Tuesday, that is today, along with around 50 deaths. This country has recorded more than 35 million total cases since the onset of global pandemic, according to the data by Johns Hopkins University. And the last thing regarding this information portal is that there are different states in India and they have their own rules for this COVID travel. So travelers should check the rules in place for the destination they are traveling to for not having any kind of inconvenience at the last point. So, friend, this was all about the latest information regarding traveling to India and the rules associated. Please drop me a comment if you have any question regarding latest rules for Indian travel. Subscribe my channels, and soon you will be seeing more videos regarding information on all kind of travels.